is our third main topic today?
This topic comes to us from TJ. Hi, John and crew. 2022 was quite the surprise in terms of billion-dollar films. Looking at you, Top Gun 2. And it looks like 2023 for films this year is pretty stacked. And also with some potential billion-dollar films this year, like Guardians 3, The Little Mermaid, maybe even Mario Brothers. Hey, Ray.
Let's do it.
Seeing how you guys did it last year, I'm curious to know which films this year you see entering into the billion-dollar club. Thanks, and bring on the filthy.
All right. Thanks a lot for sending that in. And yeah, I said we would do it. And I guess today's the day. We look ahead now, coming out of, this is truly, like 2022 was kind of a post-pandemic year, but we were still, like we said all year, you were still living in the effects of the pandemic, right? We said that all year. We said at the beginning of the year that the pandemic may, for the most part, be behind us. We were still living very much within the effects of the pandemic. 2023 is going to be the first truly post-pandemic year where we're going to see, and the very fact that certain numbers of movie trailers are coming to Super Bowl is definitely an indication of that, but we'll get to that in a second. So which movies this year have a real chance of joining that exclusive billion-dollar club? Well, I've broken it down into a couple of different movies here. First, I'm going to start with the ones that have the outside, outside chance. Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
So these ones I say have an outside chance. Across the Universe. That's the Spider-Man movie, right? Yes. The Spider-Man Across the Universe. I think this one has an outside shot. Now look, the first one, Taylor, if you can look this up for me, how much money Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse made? I think it was in the $300 to $400 million range. But that's a movie that, quite frankly, didn't look very good. I didn't think it looked very good, and now it's one of my all-time favorite animated films. I mean, I think that movie is just masterful. I love it. Can't wait for the second. What did it make?
375 million.
It's 375. So, listen, it really caught on in popularity. I think a lot of people are going to be looking forward to it. I don't think it will, but I'll list it in the outside chance. Outside chance. Next one up that I think has an outside chance. Oppenheimer.
Oh yeah.
It is a Christopher Nolan film. People are going to be excited about it. I think the trailers have been terrific. Nolan has billion-dollar films in his repertoire. Do I think this is going to be one? Probably not. But again, I will say an outside shot. Next one, Hunger Games, Snakes and Foils and Chutes and Ladders. Or Songbirds and Snakes is what it's called. I still prefer Hunger Games, Chutes and Ladders. But yeah, Songbirds and Snakes, Hunger Games. Listen, I can't imagine it making $1 billion. But listen, don't underestimate. I remember when I saw the view numbers come up of when they put that first little teaser, just that stupid little title teaser that came out. The view numbers on that were insane. So I'm going to try to not underestimate it too much. I still don't think it'll actually get there, but I got to at least say it has an outside chance. Okay, those are the three films that I think have an outside chance. Let's go on to things that I think will get close. So I wouldn't put money on these getting into the billion-dollar club, but it's going to be close. I'll start with the Transformers Rise of the Beasts. Listen, if it wasn't for the fact that we saw the Transformers franchise take a massive dip in the amount of money they were making because audiences caught on. Oh, wait, turns out these movies suck. Bumblebee did a little bit of rebuilding there. Bumblebee was a really, really good movie. And it's a little bit of rebuilding there. I think there's going to be some excitement about Rise of the Beast. It is a big visual effects spectacle. It is still the Transformers. It has had films in the franchise that have been in the billion-dollar club. So while I wouldn't necessarily put money on it getting into the billion-dollar club, I think it's got a shot. It's going to be close. Next up, the Marvels. I don't think it'll be a billion-dollar film, but it'll get close, and I won't be shocked if it does. The first Captain Marvel movie did get into the billion-dollar club. Not by a lot, but it did. Ms. Marvel was fantastic, but not highly viewed. It wasn't one of the higher viewed shows. So put all that together, I could see this thing getting north of 900 million and maybe even getting into that billion-dollar club. I will not call it a cinch, but I'll say it'll get close. Next one up, Aquaman 2. The first Aquaman film surprised a lot of people, and it made it into the billion-dollar club. I was one of those people that I always thought it would be a big hit, be a big financial hit, but I didn't see it clearing 800 million. And it got into the billion-dollar club. So you got to, at the very minimum, I know Rob is definitely going to put this in his will make the $1 billion list, but I'm going to say it'll get close. I won't be surprised if it does, but I'm going to say this is one of those ones that's going to get close. Next up on the will get close list, Dune 2. Look, there's a lot of asterisks to be put around the financial box office results of the first Dune movie. Obviously, pandemic era, HBO simultaneous launch. Thanks so much, Jason Kilar, you idiot. A lot of things hurt it. Won more Academy Awards than any other film. Didn't win Best Picture, but it did win more Academy Awards than any other film. I think they're going to mount a real strong marketing campaign for this thing. It's going to make a hell of a lot more money than the first Dune did. But will it get into the $1 billion club? Again, I'm going to say it's going to get close. Won't be surprised if it does, but I'm going to peg it just falling a little bit short, but we'll see. Next up, Ant-Man 3. Again, none of the Ant-Man films have traditionally done super great. We're talking in the $600 to $700 million range. Now, this one, we're bringing in Kang. It's going to be a very significant, probably the most significant any of the Ant-Man films have been. So, yeah, but we're also kind of on a streak right now of Marvel films that have not made the $1 billion club. Doctor Strange certainly got close. Then we saw a little bit of a tailing off with Thor: Love and Thunder. I see this one making a lot of money, probably even the highest box office any Ant-Man has done. Won't be surprised if it gets $1 billion, but I think it's going to fall just short. Okay, that leads us into the list that I will call will make it. And the first one I think will make it, Guardians 3. I just think Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, I think this one will hit the $1.1 to $1.3 billion range. I think this is a franchise and a group of characters people love, especially coming off of the holiday special, which was so much better than it had any business being. So I think Guardians 3 will get into the $1 billion club. All right. Some people may disagree with this, but I think it is what it is. Fast 10. Fast 10 is going to make it into the $1 billion club. I mean, we're on a streak of Fast and Furious movies that have joined the $1 billion club. Fast 9 did not. Taylor, look up the box office numbers for
726,229 million.
Yeah. So, I mean, given the fact that it was still very much around the pandemic era kind of films, and the fact that it was absolute dog crap, and yet it still made over $700 million. I think there's going to be a lot of excitement leading into Fast 10. So I do think Fast 10 is going to be in the $1 billion club. All right. Next up, Little Mermaid's going to join the $1 billion club. Yeah, don't underestimate this.
No, we can't handle it. We're going to be angry.
Yes, there are going to be so many angry, whiny little baby boys out there when it does. But Little Mermaid, you already know people are drafting their Disney is faking the box office numbers responses and social media posts. This movie's going to make $1 billion. Now, of course, every movie on this list is contingent upon the reviews.
It has to be good.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's got to be good. We're making the assumption, just going into all these, that it'll at least be good. Maybe it'll be terrible. That'll hurt it. Maybe it'll be fantastic and that'll help it. But we're talking about the median line. As long as we don't hear that this movie is really, really bad, I think I've talked to so many average film goers, like people in my social circles who are not hardcore movie fans. Oh, they know there's a Little Mermaid coming though. There's a lot of people really excited about Little Mermaid. I'm not one of them, but a lot of people are. Believe me, Little Mermaid's getting in the $1 billion club, I believe.
Look at this stuff.
All right. Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning, Part 1, Chapter 5, Subsection 7. Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning, Part 1. Listen, coming off of, who's going to bet against Tom Cruise right now? Anybody in here?
Ray.
Yeah, other than Ray? Anybody want to be in the doubting Tom Cruise business right now? Coming off of Top Gun's $1.4 billion performance at the box office. And this looks spectacular. Again, it may be a slow crawl to the $1 billion mark. Top Gun just kept having legs. I don't think this movie's going to open with a $300 million opening or anything like that, but I think it's going to have the legs. And if it's the same quality that we've gotten from the previous installments, this is one that's going to get there. All right. Next up, we've got Indiana Jones. This is a franchise everybody wants to be good. People want to see this. They want it to be good. and in the hands of James Mangold, I have no doubt it will be. They saw what happened with Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. They've had their punch in the mouth. They understand what does not work with this. They understand now because of Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, you can't just put out any shit and put the name Indiana Jones on it and it's just going to work.
Well, you can't say it's just made for kids.
What's that?
This is made for kids. That's what they said with Crystal Skull.
Right, yeah. And you cannot do that. And I think they learned a lot of lessons. They took a lot of time. And even though it's unfortunate that Steven Spielberg's not directing this, you got one of the best directors, one of the other best directors in the world right now, and James Mangold directing this thing. I believe, again, it's got to be good, but I have no reason to believe that it won't be. I think Indiana Jones, I said before, I didn't think it would get into the $1 billion club, but you know what? The more I think about it, I think maybe it will. And then there's this one that I have done a complete 180 on, because I didn't think before that this movie would get into the $1 billion club. And with the amount of people I've been talking to, and with the huge response I've been seeing going on at Universal Studios Hollywood right now, I'm now starting to believe that this movie is going to be the #1 movie of the year. I reserve the right to change my mind on that once we get some information, we see it. But Mario Bros. Ray likes that. With the number of people I've been talking to lately, and again, the lineups and just when they were opening preview dates for Super Mario World, Nintendo World at Universal Studios Hollywood, and that they booked in literally seconds. By the way, Ann and I are going tomorrow. We're going to go see this Mario Land world over there. And then talking to a lot of people, a lot of, again, average moviegoers who are like, oh, we can't wait for this Mario movie. We can't wait for this Mario movie. We can't wait for this. I'm like, really? So I have had to go from, I think it'll be a big hit, but I don't think it'll be a $1 billion film, to I think it's going to be a $1 billion film, and I think it has a chance of being like a 1.5. I think it could be the #1 film of the year.
Do we know what the last Nintendo film was in
Nintendo's
theaters?
never done a film.
Nintendo's never done a film?
Well,
I mean, you
there
have to
was
go
the
back to
Super
the-
Mario
Well, I
movie
mean, the
with
original live
Bob
action.
Hoskins that made $20 million worldwide.
Yep, you go back, you have to
Here's
go
my
all the way back
cookie.
to that, but that kind of scared Nintendo off from ever letting their stuff be made into movies. And here we are. So again, my list will consist of Outside Chance films, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, I should say, Oppenheimer, Hunger Games, Snakes and Ladders. We'll get close. Transformers: Rise of the Beast, The Marvels, Aquaman 2, Dune 2, Ant-Man 3. Again, I won't be surprised if any of these make it into the $1 billion club. I'm going to guess a little bit short, but it's going to be really tight. And the ones that I think will make it: Guardians 3, Fast 10, The Little Mermaid, Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning, Part 1, Chapter 5, Subsection 7. Indiana Jones is going to be a $1 billion club film, and Mario Brothers. So that's what I got up in here for this. Guys, we want to thank a sponsor of this video, Mint Mobile. If saving more and spending less is one of your top goals for 2023, why are you still paying insane amounts of money every month for your phone bill? Switching to Mint Mobile is the easiest way to save money this year. As the first company to sell premium wireless service online only, Mint Mobile lets you order from home and save a ton, with phone plans starting at just $15 a month. Guys, I have told you before that when I was on one of the major phone carriers, I was spending literally 3 times as much every month, and switching to Mint Mobile couldn't have been easier. So for people just looking to save some extra money this year, Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for just $15 a month. All plans come with unlimited talk and text plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. You can use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and switch easily in just minutes with eSIM. To get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month and get the plan shipped to your door for free, go to mintmobile.com/Campea. That's mintmobile.com/Campea. Cut your wireless bill to just $15 a month at mintmobile.com/Campea. Rob, I've got a bunch of films. I think, which films to you are going to be $1 billion films?
Well, here they are in order of release, and they're almost exactly the same as yours, except one. I have Super Mario Brothers, Fast X.
I actually didn't think you'd put Super Mario in there. I'm glad you did.
No, I mean, we were talking. Ray and I were talking about it earlier, but I think Super Mario Brothers worldwide is going to be huge. If it's, again, the caveat here is if they're good.
If they're good, as long as they're not.
I mean,
garbage,
everything we've seen from Super Mario Brothers looks delightful. So to me, and these are all in order of release. So Super Mario Brothers, Fast X, Little Mermaid, Guardians of the Galaxy, Indiana Jones, Mission Impossible, and I do believe that once again, Aquaman is going to be $1 billion grosser. That said, if it's good.
Yeah, that's for all of them.
Because, I have to say that you and I saw Aquaman together, and I was quite delighted by it. But even I was surprised that it went to $1 billion. But the fact that
Everybody was.
Yeah, but it was so, look, dude, with underwater denizens riding armored sharks and seahorses and fighting, I'm like, I've waited my whole life to see this. And if we get something that's comparable, and I don't think James Wan's going to let us down. He had to plus what he did, right? And Aquaman's wearing that badass blue outfit that harks back to when he had the blue and white outfit in the comics. I'm like, I think this stuff is going to, I think there is a reason why if they make another Aquaman movie in the post-Gunverse, it's because Jason Momoa knocked it out of the park. So, and they already know if he did. So I think it's going to make $1 billion.
Are there any I had on this list that you think could be sleepers that you wouldn't necessarily put on your list, but could have a chance, sit right there on the cusp? Maybe
I don't think so because look, to me, Mission Impossible is iffy, but I do think that because of where Tom Cruise is at, because of Maverick, I think, and the rest of the franchise, they just keep getting better and better and better. I think Mission Impossible is going to make it, even though I thought it was iffy. I don't think, look, as much as I love Christopher Nolan, I don't think something like Oppenheimer has a chance because it's still a historical epic.
Yes, that's why I didn't have it on there too.
And I think it's going to make money because everyone thought that Dunkirk, people were like, Warner Brothers is like, okay, we'll let you make your World War II incident that the British love.
And how much did Dunkirk end up making?
It made money compared on what it cost.
Dunkirk made $527 million.
$500 million for a World War epic.
A World War II
Tenet only made 300. I think it depends on how heady he goes.
Right.
Because you had Inception that made around over $800 million. But then Tenet, which was so heady, and people were like, even John David Washington was saying that like he and what's his face? Batman.
Robert Pattinson
were like, we were shooting the movie. We had no idea what the movie was.
But you also
about.
got to remember about Tenet. The other big thing was it wasn't on the outskirts of it. It was released right in the heart of the pandemic.
You're right. I forgot about that.
There's a little bit of an asterisk on that one.
That was a good point.
We'll see. So let's go over to you here, Aaron.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a lot of very exciting movies coming out. By the way, some of the best movies that are coming out this year, I don't think have a chance of making $1 billion. We're not even talking about. We're not talking about the great movies. We're talking about the ones that have the potential to make the most money. Which, by the way,
we have an incredible list of films in general.
Oh, just in the next couple of months.
Yeah.
I totally forgot. I can't believe I left this one off. 80 for Brady.
Yeah.
Yes.
What was I thinking? 80 for Brady's going to make all the money. Okay,
80
no.
billion.
That's because he's going to visit now that he has nothing to do. He's going to come to every theater playing 80 for
Yeah,
Brady.
now that he's retired.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, but if
Introduce it.
Tom Brady does not do some sort of thing for he needs to, yeah. He
He's
needs to
going to
go
help
out and
market
do
this
a
film.
little promo
So,
for
out of
that.
the films that we've been talking about, or some of them we haven't, Aaron, which ones do you think are going to make $1 billion this year?
Well, I completely agree with you on Little Mermaid. Somebody in the chat asked, well, how much did Lion King make? The last Lion King that came out in 2019 made $1.6 billion worldwide.
Yeah.
Little Mermaid, absolutely 100%. It's gonna do great. I think, I would have said, because earlier before the show, we were kind of laughing with Ray about the idea that Super Mario's was going to do well, but after hearing you talk about the kind of crossover, cross promotion that's being done, that is just an instant way for people to be constantly reminded about, hey, this show is airing, this movie is currently in theaters. Kids are going to go. They're going to see the big thing. They're going to want their parents to take them to the movies. And then for the Gen Xers out there like me who cut our teeth on playing Super Mario Brothers back in the day, we're going to be excited and interested to see how this plays out. And like Rob said, globally, that's where you're really going to see those big numbers come in, because this is a movie that is going to transcend culture. It's going to transcend age. I think that that's going to be really big. I don't see Hunger Games crossing $1 billion because none of the other ones did. The most that any other Hunger Games movie made was over 800 million, which is a lot. That's great. I think it's going to do very, very well. I don't see it joining the $1 billion club. So I'm glad that you didn't put it on the for sure list.
What about there's a movie that some people bring up in the live chat that we didn't bring up at all. Barbie? I mean, there's a huge cultural anchor with Barbie. I mean, I wouldn't
Yeah,
put it
but
on this
Barbie-
myself.
More of a
but,
comedy, though.
but I mean, comedies can. I mean, it's.
I honestly,
wouldn't
as
put it on
someone
the list.
who grew up with lots of secondhand Barbies, I'm a big fan of Barbie. Barbie can be problematic in a lot of ways. It really is going to depend on how it's done. I love Margot Robbie. I worked with Margot Robbie. She's a lovely human being, phenomenal actress. I love, obviously, Ryan Gosling. The fact that Ryan Gosling is in this movie as Ken instantly makes me want to watch it. I think it's going to be very funny. I don't see it crossing $1 billion because I don't think that Barbie has the same relevance that perhaps Barbie did maybe 15, 20 years ago.
All right, guys, the question is for you. What do you think about all this? Which films that are coming out this year, 2023, have a chance of joining that very exclusive $1 billion club? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts.